Cape Town-based Magnet Theatre is the latest performance art initiative to plead for a financial, windfall during this uncertain time due to the coronavirus pandemic. This is through their Give 20 Plenty bursary campaign that supports their full-time training and job creation program aimed at transforming the lives of the marginalised township youth. Jennie Reznek is the theatre's Artistic Director and Trustee. She's now on Skype from Cape Town to tell us more about the emergency C19 fund campaigns. Jennie, a very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. It's a great honor to be here with you this morning.
It's an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Now, the Magnet Theatre, Jennie, is known for its great youth development projects. So how have you been affected by this pandemic?
Yeah, I mean, as everybody is, there's this huge shutdown that's happened, and it meant that all our beneficiaries are now isolated in separate spaces. And they're young people who we auditioned over 300 people for 21 places on the full-time training program. So the places were very highly valued. And so now these young people who have had this incredible opportunity offered to them are now isolated and sort of frustrated and feeling that their training and their future is kind of being interrupted. So Magnet has worked really, really hard to try and find ways of accessing them. So we've taken all our training online, and we are basically delivering 3 hours of classes and training every day to the trainees, because they are all incredibly talented young people, and we really don't want to waste this time. We feel that it's really going to be them that are going to lead us out of here when we come back. So we don't want to leave them without a sense of purpose, without a sense of training and skill. So the campaign is really, the emergency campaign is to really help us provide data so that they can download their video classes, data so that they can upload their responses to the tasks, and also to a lot of them are really struggling with, and a lot of our alumni are really struggling with food, having had a lot of work cancelled over this time. So we're trying to provide food support for those 73 alumni who are basically sitting without livelihoods at the moment because of how the theatre industry is affected by this pandemic.
And you took the decision to not suspend the theatre's operations and opted for online and remote learning possibilities, which is, what most, artistic platforms are doing at the moment. Do tell us more about that.
So I think it would have been incredibly harsh for us not to continue the training. It would have meant we wouldn't have been able to pay them bursaries. They're all young people who come from spaces where there's often not one family member in employment. And so if we were to withdraw the bursaries and just suspend until we could get back to face-to-face teaching, I think it would really be very, very harsh at this time. And I think we as an organization felt that it was really important to hold the young people that we could. The world is really going crazy, and everybody, I think, is trying to hold the communities that they can hold. And this is the community that we could hold. So basically, the very skilled teachers that we have are all designing different kinds of classes. They provide video clips, they're providing PDFs of exercises that are written down, and we are documenting the response by creating little videos at the end of every week of how the training is going. So we get a sense of how they are growing, how they are responding. We know that it's very, very hard because Magnet, the theatre itself where the training happens, provides a safe space for young people to learn. And now they're making strange noises and being creative in their own homes, and their families are sort of really looking at them strangely. Plus they have tasks and home duties that often conflict with the classes that they have to engage with. So I think it's a huge challenge, but they're such a talented bunch. And as an organization, we just fighting to keep the program going as long as possible so that we don't lose them and we don't lose their potential, and they don't lose a sense of, we want them to really retain a sense of hope and connection with the organization and connection with their own skill and training.
And I understand that the full-time training and job creation program for the year 2020 and 2021 is the one that's been the hardest hit. How so?
Well, it's just, I think with all the other extreme needs that are happening at the moment in terms of food security and joblessness as a result of the pandemic, that art and culture is something that is sort of the last on the list. So, and I feel that it's really, really important that artists are not neglected, because I think that they are trained to be creative. We are trained to improvise. That's what our training is. And I think that if we stop training young people to be creative and to be able to improvise and find a plan in difficult circumstances, we won't be able to find a new way out of this huge global pandemic that has hit us. So I think it's really important to keep training people. We've had such a strong track record with the alumni that have graduated from the program. We have 32 first-time university attendees and their family into university. 17 have graduated, 3 of them with postgraduate degrees, and 11 are still studying. And then 96% of the remainder have been up till this point employed in the industry. So it's really a program that actually has an excellent track record of transforming lives and developing young people so that they can become leaders in the industry and really lead and inspire other young people to do the same. So we're really fighting for the program because I think it has an important track record, and arts is really important at this time.
You've always prided yourselves for your organizational creativity and resilience. So how does the theatre's future look like beyond this pandemic?
I think all theatres around the world are asking the same question, and I don't think there are any easy answers to it. I think that we are hoping that we will come back slowly to face-to-face teaching, and that the theatres will revive. I'm hoping that when there's a scarcity of something and suddenly there's, you're allowed to have access to it, we're hoping that people will run to the theatre. I think one of the most painful things of this pandemic has been the sense of isolation that's created for a lot of people. And theatre is ultimately, it's an activity of assembly. It's a place where people come together to practice empathy. I call it an empathy gym. It's a place where we come together to really be together, understand each other's stories. And I think that once the lockdown eases, I think people are going to crave that assembly, that desire to come together, to share stories about their experiences of the pandemic, their experiences of being isolated. And I think that's in a way what we're trying to do in the limited way with the training is to bridge that sense of isolation, to stay in contact with as many of our community as we can, to offer the training to kind of bridge that isolation that has been forced on us. So I'm hoping that when this is over, people are going to rush to the theatre, and that we're going to and that we will have hopefully used this lockdown time to think about new projects, to create new projects, to write new plays, so that when we come back together, we will be able to be together in the theatre and hear and listen to each other's stories and tell new stories.
All right, Jennie, great chatting to you. Thank you so much. And continue telling stories. South Africa is ready to listen. That was Magnet Theatre's Artistic Director and Trustee, Jennie Reznek, joining us on Skype to talk to us about their Give 20 Plenty and the Magnet Emergency C19 Fund campaigns.